But whatever the political future, the first of the 30s promised an amazing world. A world where science and progress were rushing ahead to make it yet more wonderful every day. Now you could call New York or Istanbul or Rio de Janeiro, just as though you were calling the grocers round the corner. Telephones and radio. In the 20s, an amusing toy. Today, a worldwide network. And through it, nation could speak peace unto nation. And clearly there was not only more, but everything to come. Soon no more networks of lines, only skyborne ships in the manner that H.G. Wells had so long prophesied. Just a matter of last adjustments and the proper finance. Already someone in Germany has developed a car driven by a rocket motor. Its fuel, liquid oxygen. The shape of things to come. And the sound too. And then there's all this scientific talk about splitting the atom. But darling, what on earth is an atom? Let alone how do you split it? Oh, well, it's something very small. It's a promising path to follow, isn't it? Yes, but exactly what it does promise beats me. Science, progress, little doubt that the sky was the limit. The first of the 30s promised everything. And it wasn't just theory either. Everywhere you looked, you could find the ingenious applications of the new knowledge. A sliding roof for a car, or a door that appeared to open without human agency. What the world would be like by the 40s was anybody's guess. But the really great revolution was mass production, the turning out of everything for everybody. Once a radio set was largely a matter of a soldering iron and a do-it-yourself kit. Now it was all production line and button pressing, with millions emerging all ready to tune into this new and wonderful world. Radio sets, motor cars, vacuum cleaners, all such things the machines could spew out and did. Houses too, in a way, though still made, as it were, by hand, yet in serried ranks, they too had a mass-produced look. A square, sort of a cubist look. In truth, the kind of look that many wanted to run away from. But then getting away from it all was in itself another feature of the time. By car, pedaling, or on foot, the masses sought the fresh air, just as though that too was something that had just been invented. You might call it hiking or rambling, but by any name it certainly wasn't a bad innovation. Then there was another somewhat curious angle to all this. A reaction against the mass machine age. A return to the cottage and the soil, to weave your own cloth on homemade looms, table covers, runners, even clothes, though admittedly you had to be pretty homespun to wear them. Then folk dancing. Yes, many a village square and hall resounded to gathering peascods, sweet Kate, black nag, and many another timeless old air. Yes, for thousands of young and old, you could keep your ballroom and your jazz and wrap 'em round the maypole. Getting away from it all. And surely this striving was never more noticeable than in the look and demeanor of the ladies, God bless them. After all the mannish horrors of the 20s, a return to the strictly feminine. For the boys, a very welcome change indeed. The girls no longer tried to look boyish, thank heaven, but did everything to emphasize their sex. The sale of cosmetics boomed. For every lipstick sold 10 years before, now 1,500 were being disposed of. Just wipe that smile off your face. Someone has said that the new fashions of the early 30s were a harkening back to the Victorian era, expressing a nostalgia for the secure social life of those bygone times. Well, be that as it may, things certainly underwent great change. In place of the old flat-chested cylindrical look, flowing lines, leg of mutton sleeves, chirpy little hats to reveal coquettishly one side of the head. But though elaborate, this garb was essentially practical. Those new zip fasteners saw to that. For Sally Smith was more likely than not a working girl now, employing her nimble fingers along those self-same mass production lines. And no matter how routine the job was, she seldom seemed to get bored with it. Every day saw her entering into new occupations. In such a time of mass unemployment, it was a wonder that men weren't more often up in arms about it. But then, a pretty face can often give quite a boost to sales. As traveling at high speed seemed to be the first recreation of the new age, Sally Smith had to get into that too. Well, if Amy Johnson could build her own plane, fly it and service it, why shouldn't Sally? Even in the 30s, there were still plenty of places to fly to, and in the process, break a record and win yourself a newspaper prize of, say, £10,000. So nobody could claim it wasn't worth the candle. But whatever they claimed, Sally would have still gone her own sweet way, so what was the use? That was the spirit in which Sally Smith got into everything. And we mean everything. Marriage didn't seem to make any difference. With all those mass-produced devices to help with the washing up, cooking and cleaning, there was no knowing where Mrs. Sally Smith might end up. No time for whist today, dear. Got a rally tomorrow. Must get the old bike tuned up first. Yes, they were an adventurous lot, no denying that. The first Great War had been the start of women taking over men's jobs. Now it looked as though only another and greater war between the sexes could put an end to the trend. Whoever it was that said that little piece about harkening back to the Victorian era was on rather shaky ground, if you ask me. It certainly couldn't be claimed that these young ladies were expressing any nostalgia for the safe and secure. No doubt about it, the first of the 30s had introduced a very new era indeed.